I need a welding mask with beer holders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is that too much to ask, Internet? All right, let's talk about... I want to talk about some basketball for once.
Good thing you have this platform to do that.
Finally going to come in handy. Been keeping it around for years.
It's been 5 years just waiting for this opportunity.
Oh, gosh. This is my favorite thing on the planet.
Okay, should we talk about basketball for a few minutes?
If we have
Sure.
to.
Okay.
When, if you're going to make us, Joey.
Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
The train is off the track.
I feel like you can't just like jump through Neptune and be okay.
Just prepare to...
What the show needs is more dogs and bears and chickens and stuff.
Yeah, so just prepare to be awash in unbelievable goodness.
All right. Dog is done hacking. Cat is disinterested. I think it's time to do this. Welcome, Pacers fans.
Whoa, Joey,
you were listening.
We got to do a 3, 2, 1, go as well.
Oh my god.
Otherwise, I'd just sit in silence for the whole show and wait for you to do it.
Yeah. You'd be right to do so. All right, let's do this. Ready? It's happening.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yep.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You were listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast, and this is episode 206. Today is January 29th, 2017, and this is episode 221. Coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm your host, Joey Gafrida, the man behind the dials and season ticket holder. And Happy New Year! It's Chinese New Year, Year of the Rooster, just 2 days ago.
Cock-a-doodle-doo!
First from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., it's the Doctor, Jason Triplett.
Hello, Pacers fans. Hello, Unbeatables. Cheerios. And,
That was Australian.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that was good. I liked it. I'm hungry for Cheerios now.
Shout out from merry old England.
From Indianapolis, Indiana, he's our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks and the crappy jingles, John Colson.
Pacer Nation, I have 3 words for you. Macaroni and cheese. I have VIP tickets to the Macaroni and Cheese Fest coming up here later today. So I don't know what it's like yet, but I'm assuming there'll be lots of types of mac and cheese. I'm hoping there's mac and cheese with different types of macaroni. I hope there's mac and cheese with different types of cheese. I want some cheddar mac and cheese. I want some brie mac and cheese. I hope there's some bacon and some stuff. I want some spicy mac and cheese. Very excited. I'm having trouble focusing on this
beer,
show.
Mac and cheese.
Beer, mac and cheese, definitely. I'm going to have beer with my mac and cheese. I didn't eat dinner last night. I'm so ready for this thing. I'm ready.
I've heard of people like skipping a lunch for a dinner they were excited about, but not the day before.
Oh, no, I'm revving up.
Yikes. From Eugene, Oregon, out west, it's our enforcer and the world's best human, John Harper.
I just wanted to see if you'd really read whatever I put in front of you.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
From Eugene, Oregon, out west, is our enforcer, John Harper.
What's going on, fellas? I wanted to shout out to the winner of this year's trade deadline. Unequivocally, Roy Hibbert wins. He was traded 2 times. That's more than anybody else. So therefore, he won, right?
That's how numbers work, yeah.
That's how numbers work. That's the most.
I believe he gets the Jim O'Brien trophy. The Undebeatables are going to be joining the Almighty Baller podcast network. You might have heard us mention the Almighty Baller before. big fan of his. He's putting a network of podcasters together, each of which cover one of the NBA's 30 teams, and we are thrilled to be representing the Pacers as part of this network. I think the other thing you'll notice will be advertisements, which is...
Are we going to do them in a British accent?
It's the nature of the beast. Yeah, I mean, for some of them,
Jolly
you pay
right.
me enough money, I'll do it in whatever accent you want me to.
Jolly right, governor.
What is up, Pacer Nation? I would also like to shout out those that might be hearing us for the first time on the radio. We have over 300 hours of podcasts on our website, undebeatables.com, if you want to check that out, if you're just loving this. And if you're like, why is my radio stuck on this station? I'm sorry.
Not offering to help, are you?
No, I don't know how technology works, so I just turn the car off is all I got.
Give the old warm boot.
I just love the image of Coulson driving down the road, and he's like, I don't like this channel. So he turns off his car on the highway.
Do has also a correction from last week. I may have instructed our listeners to commit a mortal sin, and I do apologize. I recommended if you're selling your house that it was Catholic tradition to bury a statue of St. Mary upside down. That is not the case. It is St. Joseph. It is the father, not the mother. Who's just a different person, and that's a different thing, and I do apologize. So get out your shovel if you listen to my advice, and fix that quick. I think there's
Dig up Mary.
Yeah.
dig up Mary, put Joseph in there, and I do apologize for that one.
Yeah. And then 2 Hail Marys.
Yes, a couple rosaries, you should be good to go. Talk to your local priest if you're not sure. My apologies.
Kevin, Seraphin. Kevin, Seraphin.
Snakes.
Kevin, Seraphin.
Snakes. Snakes.
Eddie Gill is on in the broadcast now.
He is.
Really?
Speaking of backup point guards who didn't play real long.
Right.
Yeah, they always do a real weird interview with him in the fourth quarter
They do.
where he awkwardly analyzes the game but doesn't really say anything at all.
That's
great.
our job.
Yeah, exactly. Eddie Gill, get off our corner, man.
Trademark, son. I'm coming for you.
You know, I don't know if we mentioned this season, but last year there was a George Hill had the backpacks promotion with I think Indiana Members Credit Union. Every free throw he made, the backpacks go out to children in need around the city.
Yeah, when he missed a free throw, he'd scream, "Backpacks!"
Yeah. So this season, he's gone. So they've taken it back up with Miles Turner, and so every block he gets, backpacks go out to those kids. And I think that's kind of fun. It's exciting too because he gets this big swat and you get excited, and some kid gets a backpack. So keep
That's
it up
cool.
this year.
That's very cool. Yeah.
And I love that Connie calls them block packs now.
Yeah.
I do
Shout
so.
out Connie. So after he gets a block, he should just scream, "Block packs!"
Yes.
Thaddeus Young and Miles Turner both knocking on the door on top 25 Pacers of all time. In the Coulson list. The top 35, top 25.
Miles
whatever
Turner's
I
sitting
did.
in my smoking room in a Barca lounger in my top 25. He's all up in there.
Oh, he's already in there.
Woo! I love
Yes,
it.
Haywood
comfortable,
Workman has been
like real
de-seated.
Poor Haywood.
He's been de-Barca lounged.
He's saying all I did is, play hard for one season and then ref the NBA.
I'm just accustomed to excellence, so.
Not doing this show, though, right? Okay.
No, you guys are great.
We're in that
he's-
part of the schedule where in our preview pod we were like, yeah, basically from the end of November through early January, life is going to be hell for Pacers.
Right, so we've got to win all our games early, but instead
Yeah.
we're sitting at 6 and 7.
Yeah. Our schedule is so tough. I'm already circling December 20th versus the Knicks because I know we can get that one.
I do wonder that. I mean, obviously we got to get PG back as
That's
fast
a month
as
away.
possible, but Yeah.
Buckner said during the broadcast of this Portland game, you can't control the schedule, but you can control your spirit, which I thought was nice. And, I think they did that in this game. So,
Maybe he can.
I can control my spirits.
Yeah. Well, somewhat.
I can't do that either.
Yeah.
I can control that they go in my mouth.
Well,
What are you drinking this week? Besides all the things.
All the things.
Is that a protest beer?
Hell yeah, they all are.
In soccer, there's this term where they say this player just took this game by the scruff of the neck and won it for them, right? And that's what I really wanted Paul George to do in this game. Well, in that Atlanta game, and he didn't, right? And if we're going to be good, he's got to be doing that a lot more, I think. And that's called foreshadowing.
Friday, December 9th, Pacers travel to Dallas, take on the Mavericks. And, I was looking at this game as the most certain the Pacers would win. And, I know it's towards the end of the road trip, or it is the last one on the road trip, but the Mavericks are not good this year, and they didn't have two of their starters. So I chalked it up in my mind as a W, and they proved me wrong.
So it's your fault.
Challenge accepted.
I mean, I didn't tell them that, so I think it's double blind or something. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. They lose this one 111-103.
Clearly, your main issue is defense when you give up 140 points.
Again, that's audibletrial.com/almighty.
I use Audible to read to my kids so I don't have to.
And that's how you outsource
2 for 1.
parenthood.
And you can get a 30-day free trial, so you don't even got to pay for this. Nice.
It's a month of parenting.
Yeah.
It's like a babysitter, but cheaper.
If the Pacers played every game at home, they'd have the league's best defensive rating at 100.8, and if they were all on the road, they have the league's worst defensive rating at 110.7. So their defense does not travel at all.
It's frustrating.
It is.
We're these Miami game and the New Orleans game. We should have won both of those. I know they're on the road and we're a bad road team, but you start to feel like we're turning the corner, and and then we just drop 2 winnable games. We're playing like a 500 team, and it's frustrating. I don't know who this team is at this point. You get great wins and then you get terrible losses.
Yeah, they don't know who they are either, I don't think.
I'm going to say for the 10th time this season, we've turned a corner.
If you keep turning, where do you end up? Just circling the block.
I think we're getting Stucky back tonight, so that should help.
There you go. The stuck train. All aboard.
Whoop, whoop. I've just been this year worried about PG, I guess, in the sense that he's not playing at an MVP type level. Ultimately in the NBA, it's a star-driven league, right? And if your star is not playing like a superstar, then you're going to struggle, right? And my argument going into the season, I picked the Pacers to win 52 or 53 games, whatever absurd number I threw out there, mostly on the assumption that we had the second best player in the Eastern Conference. And I don't think he's been that through the first quarter of the season.
I think of note in that game, like we mentioned, it was Jeff Teague's 17 assists. It was his career high. That's also the most by a Pacer since Jamal Tinsley in 2002. Before he was banned.
Tinsley?
Yeah. Before he was banned from the
I feel like I need to knock
fieldhouse.
on wood every time you say Jamal Tinsley. What is that?
Missed that guy before he was a jerk.
I just wanted freaking tigers with laser beams.
How is rebounds not written on the top of the right whiteboard every day? It's really frustrating because we're losing these games. Not entirely. There's a lot of reasons, but rebounds are about force and effort, and we're getting worked on the boards.
I mean, when you lose by 6 points and you are negative 20 in total rebounding, you absolutely lost because of rebounding.
Yep.
Right.
If that's even, they win by 15 at least, right?
Did see Stuckey come back for a whopping 6 minutes before he retweaked that hamstring or groin or whatever the heck was bothering him. So that certainly didn't help.
And then just walked straight into the locker room. He knew he'd retweaked it. It was he was not happy.
Can we just shut him down until April?
Yeah,
no
we
doubt.
probably should.
Listen, I believe the Knicks are taking on the Pacers this week as our game of the week.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Thank you.
Game of the week. 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 No, it's not. No, it's not.
Nope, Joey is correct. The Pacers are hosting the New York Knickerbockers on Saturday. It's 80s night in the Fieldhouse, so bring out your hoverboards, bring out your leather jackets for sure. The Knicks currently are one spot below the Pacers as we record this podcast. They are 16-17, and they have lost 4 consecutive games. And the Knicks will be coming into this game actually on the second night of a back-to-back.
I think we got this. I'm going to call for a W. It's also Chuck Person bobblehead doll night.
Ooh.
Oh, we're not losing.
No.
Not losing on a rifleman night.
No.
That's right.
Do you think the bobblehead is Chuck Person wearing chaps?
Chaps.
I really hope so.
If it's not, I'm throwing it on the court.
18,000 of them come flying down on the floor. Like a hockey game.
You promised me chaps.
Take that to Twitter, buddy.
No, that was what that was how my Christmas ended. I just stormed out.
Yeah, it was a weird year.
It's a weird year.
We don't do anything well. We don't have an identity, right? So we are like 15 or below in almost every major statistical category except pace, which we're like 8th in. You know, like we just don't do anything particularly well. And
Well, at least they're mediocre quickly.
And so I think the most salient quote is from George, who said, "Our identity is inconsistency. We've yet to spread from the pack, and we've yet to string some games together. We've yet to take a step back and look at the big picture and point out some things that we're doing well over the course of this season. So really, we have nothing to fall back on right now."
shout out to Harper as well. I'm pretty sure he coined our identity as inconsistency. I can't remember if he was talking about our show or the Pacers, but one or the other. So shout out Paul George for listening to the show.
I'm concerned. I don't want to read. I don't want to tell. I'm concerned that we're trying to get inside the mind of Paul George to some extent, right? I think that he does have some legitimate beefs here, right? And I think that, the transition from not a leader to a leader is a difficult one. And he's being asked to do really different things. And I'm going to push very hard here that I think that a big part of that is that people aren't telling him what he's supposed to be doing.
So you're getting back to this mentorship
it's not
issue that
his
you raised
job to
earlier.
figure out more or delegate. Not his job, right? He's 27 years old. That's Nate's job. That's Larry's job, right? That's not his job. Someone needs to figure it out, sit down with him, and get on the same page. And when he goes to the media and says, I feel like I have to do more, that's a failure of leadership, and it's not his.
As far as I can tell, the only way to win is to not play.
So optimistic of you.
Wow. So
Yeah, I
you're
do
saying
like
we're
the
just going to
Cavs, too.
skip that game? Is that your plan?
Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Fans, let the Pacers know their feelings. Raining down some booze. Based on the lack of effort, which is we talk about it all the time. If you're going to play basketball in Indiana, fans, respond to that effort.
I mean, if they're throwing the ball out of bounds and miscommunicating on offense and whatever, and they're clearly trying hard on defense, but they're just getting
beat by a better team. I don't think those are the situations when people are booing. I just really don't.
No, that's not it. You're right. It's not that.
It's when we put up when we allow the New York Knicks to put up 40 points in the second quarter because we're not playing defense, or because we're arguing with the refs instead of getting back on defense. That's the kind of stuff that earns the ire of the fans, and rightfully so.
Jason, you mentioned Stuckey here. It was really great to have him back and healthy.
Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it?
That was the best 14
Fully
minutes of our season.
He got 14 minutes in this game. The last time he tried to come back, I think he got 6 minutes. So at this rate, he'll be out for 3 more weeks, and then he'll come back and play 20 minutes. So it'll be good.
And now we got to talk about this. Topic is, why do the Pacers suck?
Is that the new name of our podcast?
No. They've been very inconsistent. You know, this the loss to the Celtics, I think, last week. You know, that hurt a lot of us. Jason, you're one of those people included. What's going on with these guys? You know, we know that their ceiling is high, but apparently their floor is also equally far down. It's a big house, is what I'm saying.
With what I see from this team right now, like, I'm concerned right now, about us having a culture of losing. The types of things that I see from this team, the inconsistency, the sort of unevenness, what looks from the outside like a real lack of top-down communication, these all feel like organizational problems that are manifesting as a culture that's not set up to succeed. I feel like if we don't make the playoffs this year, we could be in real trouble. Mm-hmm. With or without Paul George. I don't know if that means that you get rid of Nate right now. For me personally, the verdict is out on that. Like, I'm not sure what you do right now, but I will tell you that we have to make the playoffs this year. We have to.
I'd like to give a shout out to Vince Carter, who's 40 years old, still getting work done. 11 points off the bench, 3-6 from the floor, 2 of 3 from the 3-point line,
and had a dunk.
He had a dunk. I mean, he's still getting stuff done. I'm very impressed. I hope he sticks around for another year or two, just to show guys like us that there's still something left to live for.
Shout out to Christine Kokonis. She passed away last week at the age of 86, but her obituary is fantastic. And in it says that she had a devotion to the Sacramento Kings that would rival any love story. And goes on further to say, whether you knew her or not, the world's most interesting woman is going to be missed, and the world a little duller. Christine requested that 6 players from the Sacramento Kings be her pallbearers so that they could let her down one last time.
Out. Shots fired from beyond the grave.
I love it so much.
I'd like to also shout out to my family, your family, all the families out there.
I'd like to shout out to the single people.
To the family, to non-family, we hope you're doing well this upcoming year. Oh, I got one more thing. I want to give a shout out to the Undebeatables.
What?
Hey.
We get a shout out?
Yeah. The January 20th is our anniversary.
That's so Joel Embiid of us to shout ourselves out.
I think we've been at this, 5 years or so? Is that right?
Somehow we've been doing this for 5 years.
Well, luckily we're on the internet, and we pay the internet bill, so they can't take us off the air.
Sure. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us.
Yeah, what is this? Is this like the wood anniversary?
I think wood is like 2, right? And paper is 1.
It's double platinum, I think.
There's
we're like
10.
Silver? 10?
10, maybe.
Okay.
It'd be nice if 10 was on the 10th anniversary, but I don't think it is.
I'll bring you guys some tinfoil for UndebeataCon.
Ooh, yeah. We'll make some nice hats.
Sure. We'll make little promise rings.
Sure. Why not?
We're on the road.
Yeah.
UndebeataCon 2017.
Yeah, do we know the number anymore? Is this 8?
No, there were some half numbers.
it definitely got out of control with the numbers.
But we're on the 2017 version. We're on the way from Indianapolis to Atlanta.
That's right.
On the road again.
On the road again.
There was a very strict no singing ban.
Oh, really? Just for me, though, right?
Yeah.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side?
Why did the chicken buy Pacer tickets?
Why?
Because he heard refs were blowing fouls.
Okay.
So we've been
Ceramics are some of our oldest culture, in fact.
True that.
Ode on a Grecian urn. Ode to a Grecian urn?
Ode of a Grecian urn?
Something like that.
Flippin' Jacksons.
Flippin' Jackson.
Flippin'
All
Jackson.
right, on that note, I think we nailed that.
would be heard and answered.
Joe, what do you call a blind dinosaur?
Terry? I don't know.
And someone believed it.
You can click the link that we send you.
You guys send me links?
We do.
I pod from my gut, Joey.
Yes.
So amazing that stargazing.
A
What
bucket of sand that has timeout written on one side and then like nothing on the other side, and then just have an assistant coach come and like turn it around when we need a timeout. That would be better than Nate McMillan.
Wilson is our new coach.
Yes.
You might be in the running to replace Bowser.
Is Bowser still around?
No, Bowser's dead. So that's why I don't want to. I
Killed
don't
him
want
many a
to.
times.
I don't want to get in position where I'm in the crosshairs of Boomer. So I'm just gonna stay out of it. Bowser met a very violent end.
MacGruber.
Does that bother anybody else when like a recording tells you like thank you for being patient when you're not, like you're stewing and you're angry, like you don't know me machine.
someday we'll find it.
Cookie starts with C. Pacers starts with P.
Don't drink and drive. Don't do drugs. Stay in school. All that stuff.
The lovers, the dreamers, and me.
I was pretty good in the fourth grade at the recorder. Yeah.
Really?
I was more of a glockenspiel
Were you?
guy.
I wouldn't have thought that.
I envisioned you as more of a theremin player.
Did you have those in the fourth grade?
You know, I'm sure you're going to say, no, it's okay. They had a team meeting and they turned a corner. But I feel like they do that every 3 weeks. Don't they say, oh, we took this horrible loss. It's cool. Paul George pulled everybody together and said, hey, guys, we got to talk more. And then they play well for a game. And then they go back into their same habits.
I think you're looking at this all wrong, Jason. So from the beginning of the season, what we really wanted to know was, what does this team do really well? Well, now we know. They are really exceptional at playing 500 basketball. We've been strung together two of anything
the best
since February 16th. We've alternated wins and losses since then. So
Longest stretch in franchise history.
We are the best at playing 500 basketball.
That's not. I can't deal with that. I didn't watch this game. I intentionally did not. It's not like I had another activity with my Wednesday night. I was just like, nope, I'm not watching this game.
Just full blown on strike.
Yeah, I was disgusted. So I'm glad. So now I can't watch them anymore. So
Luckily,
Enjoy the season, guys.
Luckily, you don't do a pod about the Pacers.
Right.
We can just tell you about each game. That's fine.
Okay, that'd be good. Yeah, I'm gonna watch something else.
I
Maybe
promise we will talk you off the ledge, buddy. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be all right.
No, it's not.
I've got this, buddy. I got you. I am
Cut his
super
mic.
optimistic.
Cut his mic.
I've been down on this team all year, and I am convinced that we finally turned the corner.
This is that corner.
I already heard the show.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Wilson, we now have a new segment that we know very little about, except all I know is it's called the NBA Nickname Game. Are you going to surprise us again this week?
I am. Pause for jingle.
NBA nickname game. 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 NBA nickname game.
Hawk the Slayer.
I feel like there was definitely a Hawk G.I. Joe, but he wasn't named Hawk the Slayer. So I'm going movie.
That is correct. With the aid of his companions, a man seeks to defeat his evil brother who has taken a nun hostage.
God.
All comes
What a
back to
decade.
falconry.
Yeah.
Black President.
I hope that's an NBA player. I'm going with that.
I hope it's an
That's
NBA.
NBA
movie.
player.
It's a bad idea.
No, it's an NBA player. Gilbert Arenas.
Yes!
Black President.
No, he was Agent Zero.
He was also that. He's got multiple names.
If he was president, the world would be such a hilarious place. There would be casualties.
Poop in all the shoes.
We don't have any professionals in the locker room. We just need to dispel ourselves of that reality.
So you don't
These guys
like
are not.
you don't like Aaron Brooks,
No.
Al Jefferson,
No.
Monte Ellis
No.
as veteran
No.
leaders.
No.
Okay.
No, I think that this season has proven. Look, you know what professionals do? They go out and they work hard every night. They pick each other up when they're down. They try and get guys from getting overconfident, and they keep everybody sort of within a reasonable range of euphoria, highs, lows, whatever, so that you can translate that to basketball on the court. We have not seen a lick of that this season. So whoever we thought these professionals were, thank you, Hodge. Whoever we thought these professionals were, they're not doing what we expect of real professional basketball players.
Harper, is your dog all right?
Yeah. That's normal. He normally doesn't do it that much. I don't know. He hasn't smoked all morning.
Do you guys know that the Ringling Brothers is shutting down the circus?
Yeah. Heard that.
I heard that.
Yeah. I did find out, though, that the company is diversified very well. They actually own, like, the Disney on Ice and some of the other on ice, whatever's on ice. Like, they own all that stuff, so...
Undebeatables on ice.
Yeah, no, they own that.
I'm looking forward to that.
No, I know. That's what, I think put us through to retirement.
Sure. Fans are clamoring for it.
I was impressed that they were that they negotiated us the skaters that portray us to be able to smoke on the ice during the show
And drink beers.
Drink whiskey.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, it's a big hit with the kids because we do the baby race on ice.
Oh, nice.
I'm definitely dressed as Kermit the Frog, brought down from the ceiling.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be good.
I like when Jason does the triple Lutz with his guitar while he's playing. Doesn't even miss a beat.
We're gonna take the world by storm. So the babies have skates, or do we just kind of throw them on the ice?
Yeah, it's like it's both. So we do an interpretive dance of a baby race on skates, right?
Okay.
It's very artistic and beautiful. But then the kicker is then we go baby race on ice.
Drop babies on the ice and just say go
Yeah.
for it.
Well, we put the little, you know how you can get those little booties for dog paws for running around in the snow. We put those on their hands, so we don't. I mean, you know, no babies are harmed.
We're not monsters
physically in the conduction of the baby.
Emotionally, perhaps.
Only emotionally. But you can't not harm a baby emotionally. I mean,
sure, exactly. Everybody screws up their kids, right? Yeah. So we'll help you screw up your kids for you.
Yeah.
We'll charge you to watch that.
Yeah. You'd rather have them talking about us in therapy than you, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
Instead of let's talk about the other parent, it's let's talk about the other undone people.
Exactly.
You get your tickets now. Well, hey, let's take a break here. I want to get some new music in the break at halftime here. This one, out of Boston, is produced by Static Selecta, MC's Terminology. A new album coming out here soon. I'll get a link to the song in the show notes. But the song is Top Shotta, and I've been digging this one. I got this one via Bringing Down the Band, the Turn Off the Radio playlist, but I like this one a lot. Check it out.
Static Selecta. Static Selecta.
Top Shotta, boy. Feel me? Top Shotta, boy.
Show off. Sipping this liquor off the 8th floor balcony. Thinking how I made the whole world bounce for me. I had to bubble on the low and blow silently. No longer wanna be the one to live violently. 2 baby mamas, 2 babies, that's 4 mouths to feed. 100 friends, but none of them looking out for me. Got tax issues, got debts, and got accounting fees. I just wanna heal my pain with this cloud of tree. Is it all in my mind or am I paranoid? Is this karma in the air one I can't avoid? Can I, Lord, ask you to give me the strength not to lust for anything that I can't afford? I don't need no awards or nothing immature. I was more thinking less nightmares and mental wars. Thinking how my Aunt Tammy died last month. Got me smoking every L like it's my last blunt. I keep it humble, don't chill with people that's gassed up. Some of my friends rich, some of them on their last buck. How could I stop showing you love cause you had bad luck? Anybody could vouch for me, any hood I get mad love.
The fusillade gets sprayed, never delayed. I'm just coming for a blaze. Every time I blaze, take a minute just to look back in the days as I reminisce the names, but I'm still a cage rat. That's the stage fact, and you should page 8 that. Trying to get the papers, caught up on the vapors. Hiatus to my haters, the people's dilators. See them how they trait us, and then they rate us, grate us, and then they slave us. And enslave us and engrave in our mind that we can't be the greatest. We wasted too much time, taking time for granted. The fruit of life I planted, I palm granted. Last man rapping for the planet. I kiss the granite on my Africa, bata, patois, pata, gold art, make that Harry Potter. Poof, you rappers not tired, son, you not hotter. Big up like Papa to the realest top shotter.
Top Shotta, boy.
Thank you to Static Selecta and Terminology. Like I said, we'll get links in the show notes. You can listen to it on SoundCloud for free, and you can buy them on iTunes.
Whatever argument you're making, I'm in on the Murray people.
Just a super solid effort. We held the Grizzlies to 14 points in the fourth quarter, and we still lost by 13.
Man. What a bummer. Anything else about this one?
I'm over the Memphis game.
We've got good news for you, Colson. Friday, March 31st, Pacers travel to Toronto, and they lose by less this time. 100 to 11. Jason, why are the Pacers falling victim to these Raptors right now?
Because they're a bad basketball team. I can't really tell you. I didn't watch this game, as you guys know. From our discussions last week, I'm on strike from the Pacers until they show me some level of consistency either way. Just become a terrible team or a decent team, and I'll tune back in. And I didn't have to watch this game. I told you guys what was going to happen. We were going to go to Toronto.
Yes,
we were going to get
Yeah.
blowed out. So
This was fated by chicken entrails or something. So
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so you guys will have to tell me what happened. My guess is we came out with little energy or effort. We got down big by the middle of the second quarter.
check.
I'm guessing we rallied late in the third to kind of make it interesting. Maybe
Check.
Paul George got hot for a stretch, and then we fell apart in the fourth quarter.
Then we rolled over.
Why
on
do
our
we even
back.
watch these games?
I'm telling you, man. You can save so much time.
Well, there were the one thing that I noted from this game that's worth commenting on maybe is that Thad Young hit his first 3-pointer since his wrist injury. So maybe he's getting his shooting stroke back.
Even a broken clock, John. Even a broken clock.
He also airballed a free throw.
We're going to rack up a bunch of moral victories down the stretch here.
Hey, I'll take it.
That'll help us in the moral draft that occurs never. As Pacer fans, we've
For
seen a
us,
lot
maybe,
we've seen a lot of bad inbound plays already. Like the one this week, the Pacers are making their big run back in the Denver game, and Monte he gets a 5-second violation inbounded the game like with a minute left. I don't know why I brought that up. It just made us sad again. We haven't talked about it much. Dirk Nowitzki just broke 30,000 points for his career.
What?
And he's, I think, the 6th player of all time to do that, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. To celebrate, you can head to steinersports.com and get yourself a sweet framed picture of the Duncan Deutschman that has a piece of a game-used basketball in it. And when listeners use promo code Almighty at checkout, they receive 20% off discount of this awesome piece of memorabilia.
What? It's a piece of a game ball? What?
Yeah. That's
That
pretty
is-
cool.
I've heard of a piece of a game worn jersey or something, but
But it's a game ball.
so what's the process? You just take a butcher's knife and go right into the ball, and then
I think it's some ball scissors is what they're called.
once again, that's steinersports.com. Ball, scissors, and memorabilia.
Hashtag careful.
But Dirk's had a good year and just hit the 30,000 point mark a couple weeks ago. So congrats to him.
Yeah, how crazy is it? We haven't mentioned that on the show, but hell of an accomplishment.
Yeah, congratulations.
Shout out, Dirk.
Sharpie, unimpressed with Dirk.
Maybe that's him celebrating.
Sure. Maybe Sharpie's worried about the ball scissors.
Next thing, we got my stat of the week.
Joey, stat of the week.
This happened before, but it's happening again. But the stat this week is a man. And it's Russell Westbrook.
Is it
Westbrook.
a man?
This has happened before.
Westbrook is beyond the restraint that Kevin Durant was putting on him now. And he's having just an absolutely tremendous season. Right now, he's averaging 31.2 points per game, 10.4 rebounds per game, 11.2 assists per game. In the fantasy league, across the CBS Sports fantasy leagues, 100% of people own him, which I think is, of course, he's averaging a triple-double.
That's
but
advisable.
only 99% of people are starting him. Who out there has him and is not starting him?
Joey, stat of the week.
Stat 2, we've talked about this in the past, but the Pacers are going to do it again this year. They're going to end, if they get one more win, they're going to win over 50% of their home games for the 28th straight season. Shout out to the Pacers on that one. It's just, this is their 50th season, 28 in a row.
What are you doing right now?
What?
You are just putting the biggest jinx on this team I have ever heard in my life.
This guy's hit his last 20 free throws.
So basically, the Pacers are going to lose every other home game for the rest of the season. Now.
Yeah, but if they lose
'Cause of
every
Joey.
other one, they'll still be fine.
I see.
Did they
I see where
clinch
you
it
went
already?
there.
I thought you said they need
No.
one more win.
No, they're one
They need
away.
one more.
They're one away.
They
So
need
we'll
one.
get it. We're just going to lose 5 home games first.
That's fine. Listen, I'll give that up
For the stat. You'll give that up for the stat.
so I don't have to wait one more week for this stat. We'll be fine. They're not going to lose out their home games for the year.
God, I hope you're right.
I think that's very impressive. I think it will be very impressive.
Joey, stat of the week.
Third stat this week. This one was sent to us, brought to our attention the first time by listener Charlie, Easy E. Draymond Green, we've talked about many times this season, his career basically. He got a triple-double. It was pretty impressive. We've seen lots of triple-doubles. This one was a little bit different. He had 4 points in that game. So this is the first triple-double where one of the categories was not points. He had 12 rebounds, 10 assists, and 10 steals, which is crazy.
Just a reminder to Pacer Nation, we passed on this guy.
Yeah.
Why you got to bring up Ojit?
Well, if I'd had a direct phone line to Larry Bird that night, we would have drafted
You would
this
have been
guy.
hung up on several times.
They figured out that Harden's elite skill, because he's not basically an elite athlete on any metric except in deceleration. So they basically went. They looked at his athleticism compared to all other basketball players, and the only thing he's elite at is stopping, essentially. But he is in the 1 percentile of all athletes measured in deceleration, in stopping. And that's a crazy stat. That's his only elite.
That is some weird sports
Isn't
science
that
stuff
crazy?
right there.
Sports science is crazy. But they were like, that's the only thing he's elite at. But he's so good at it that he's one of the top players in the NBA. I think that's a pretty cool stat. So I guess I'll give Harden a
What
little
is
bit
a
of
thing?
love.
We have a whole stop on a dime.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
talk about guys that can stop on a dime. Like he's the definition of that.
He is the definition of that.
Yeah.
So.
Apparently he can stop on marbles.
Next, we want to talk about my stat of the week.
Joey, stat of the week.
This week, there's a lot of things going on in the NBA, a lot of things we could talk about, but what we got to talk about is James Harden. This year we've talked a lot about how he's just putting up crazy numbers, but as this Ball Don't Lie article says, he ended the year by putting up all the stats. He put up a career high in points, career high in rebounds, career high in assists against the Knicks in one game, putting up 53 points, 17 assists, 16 rebounds. He's the first player in history with 50, 15, and 15. He ties Wilt Chamberlain for the most points on a triple-double. He led the entire league in all 3 categories that night.
What?
Colson, you love this, man. What's up? Why is the beard better than you?
No, let me reframe this just to make it perfect for Colson. Why is James Harden the best point guard ever?
I don't know. I feel like he's slowly winning me over with his stellar play and his stopping on a dime stuff. I really liked that. I thought it was pretty cool. I still don't really like D'Antoni. I still don't really like the Rockets uniforms. I like Clutch, and I'm sort of coming around on James Harden.
What about the beard? Are you coming around on the beard?
Not really.
No?
Not really. look, this is absolutely incredible. I mean, what a night for the guy. And it is D'Antoni's offense that he has the keys to, and he's doing whatever he wants. But God, I hate they're not gonna go to the finals. They're probably not even gonna get out of the first round. Whatever. Screw these guys. I'm out. I'm out on the Rockets. I'm out on Harden.
Really? And they won the game too, mind you.
Whatever.
Hey guys, so Russell Westbrook locked up his triple-double average triple-double for the season the other day. Grabbed his board, so he got 820 boards, which gives him averaging 10 a game. So he's done it. He has averaged for the first time since Oscar Robertson did. What does this mean, Jason? Are you? Is this one of the biggest things that's ever happened? Is it just a thing? Is it? It's clearly something.
It's totally something. I mean, this is historic, right? This is an historic achievement. And I think when we look back on this season, regardless of what happens in the playoffs, we're going to remember this as the season that Russ went for a triple-double and that we were all obsessed with it all season long. Mm-hmm. He might not even win the MVP. I mean, there's, other competition out there, which is crazy, right? I mean, we talked about it before that the Big O, when he averaged a triple-double, also did not win the MVP. So that's not unprecedented. But, I mean, the 16-17 season is going to go down as Russell's year.
For sure.
That sounds like an Undegoogable, though, Colson.
I don't think it's ever happened. That's what I'm going to go with. Go ahead, Joey.
Oh, okay. I thought he was setting you up.
He was setting me up, but then I was like, I just love
put the ball right on the turf, buddy.
Nobody wants.
I just love the sound of Joey's voice.
Bumble-rooski.
I want more Joey.
So he lobbed you a softball, and now I got to pick it up and put it on the tee.
Yes.
Well, it does sound like an Undegoogable question. Colson, again, this week, we got more. We got some topical things. You're going to ask some questions, and we will know partial answers, I'm sure. What do you got for us this week?
You guys do great every week. I don't know what you're talking about, Joey. Basically, people don't need to Google stuff anymore. They just need to listen to our show.
Then they would know like one thing a week. Sometimes.
That's so great. You're at work and you're like, I wonder what the answer to this is. No, I'm just going to wait until the next Undebeatables episode. Maybe
wait until Thursday.
Maybe they'll cover my specific request.
Oh, are we doing Undegooglables?
That was the plan.
Super excited.
You told us we had to, so.
He said we signed up for it.
In the end, it's going to be better and more true than Google can give you. So, I have an Undegooglable this week. Kyle and I were hanging out, and she asked me, what's the difference between a llama and an alpaca?
Can't you make stuff out of an alpaca? Isn't there some kind of alpaca?
Like burgers, right?
Well, no. Can't you? You could, I don't know, weave something out of an alpaca.
Yes, you definitely can. You make thread out of
definitely,
alpaca.
Thread out of an alpaca.
They shear them for their fur, but don't they do that with llamas too?
I think they do that with llamas.
I did not know that.
Do llamas spit?
Llama farms.
Llamas definitely spit on you from like 10 feet away.
Right. Do alpacas do that?
Boy, I don't know.
I've got a sneaking suspicion that they're the same thing.
They're not the same thing. They're different animals.
Oh, no.
I'm going to go with alpacas and llamas are closely related, but alpacas live at altitude and llamas live in deserts.
So Joe, you think it's like a mountain lion
and a puma?
Don't mountain lions have and puma thing? Not puma. Puma's not the right word. But don't mountain lions have an alternate name?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Desert lion.
Yeah. Sure. So you think it's that situation? In certain parts of the world, they call them llamas, and in other parts, it's the same animal, but they call them alpaca.
I think that might be right. But
they're pack animals for sure, right? And we use their fur, and they're
domesticated, aren't they? Are there wild alpaca?
Not anymore.
Ooh, okay. So maybe it's llamas are wild. Llamas aren't wild though, are they?
I mean, they can throw down.
You do not want to be in a bar fight with a llama.
Fact.
So are we saying that llamas are wild and then we breed alpacas for?
I'm going with alpacas
thread.
live at a higher altitude.
Okay, I'm going with
Yeah, I
they're
think that
different
they just
animals.
live in different
That's
places.
what I'm going with.
So, Jason, you think they're the same animal,
so-
but just live differently?
No, I think they're different animals.
Okay.
Okay.
I think they're very closely related, but
Yeah.
that they live in different regions of the world. Like, say,
I'm with Jason.
alpacas live in I
Peru.
don't know,
Yeah,
Yeah, South America.
And llamas live in
Australia or something. I don't
Lower elevation Peru.
know.
That's what I'm thinking.
elevation.
They all live in Peru.
Well, that's been clearly established.
We make
Okay.
burgers out of alpacas, is according to Joey, and llamas
Yeah.
more of a sausage.
less, yeah, more of a sausage.
So if you're opposite of what you're supposed to do, you're three shits to the wind. You're three sheets to the wind.
Nailed it. Does it come from falconry by any chance? I learned this week that a bunch of weird phrases come from falconry. Like hoodwinked is a falconry term.
Really?
Yeah.
How's that work?
And be having someone under your thumb.
Where does the phrase humble pie come from? And it's French for deer innards.
Yeah, nombre.
Way to... Lord, that did not go where I thought it was going to go.
It's the magic of the game, man.
The logical result of Undegooglables, it will eventually end in four of us just guessing what the other people are saying.
Like all of us go no audio.
I think that's like the podcast version of a trust fall. You know?
Last season, we won 45 games. We traded George Hill for Jeff Teague, and that you could say was a downgrade, an upgrade, or a wash. But we also brought in two other pieces, that Al Jefferson and Thaddeus Young. When you look at that offseason, that looks like an upgrade. So this team should be winning more than 45 games.
Player personnel wise, but then we did a coaching search that was, I want to get rid of this guy that's won over 50% of his games every year that he's been here, is a freaking warrior for this franchise, and I'm going to give him the boot because I don't like watching his style of basketball, and I'm going to go to his lieutenant. Like, what, that's a move that just wastes
It's still
talent.
confusing.
It's befuddling. It doesn't make any sense.
This show, we've just got two topics to discuss. The waving of Roddy Stuckey and the glorious arrival of Lance Stephenson.
He's born ready, son.
The flip side of this, though, is that, you are integrating a new piece with, what do we have, 7 games left in the season or something like that? Which is not a lot of time to get things together. And we are, we're recording this Thursday night. We have a game and a half lead over Chicago for the 8th spot. And
Sure.
Chicago, I think, is beating Cleveland right now. So
Right.
a
And they have
game lead.
the weakest out in the history of the universe with 2 against Brooklyn and a Knicks.
Right.
Like, it's just ridiculously soft.
Yeah, so there's no margin for error, basically, for this Pacers team.
Right.
Which is a really scary proposition.
Sure.
My hope is that it all gels, but
Jason, I'm not sure that I care that it gels. Like, I mean, we have we have terrible chemistry. Like, it's not like we're screwing anything up. Like, just throw a grenade in the locker room and see what happens. That's what we're doing.
See if somebody
right?
dives on it. Just to
it's
find out.
like we're just like, I don't know what's going to happen. Let's throw Lance Stephenson into the mix. It's not like he's screwing up something great. Like just shake some of these guys up and see if we can get some different responses from these guys.
So if I understand this, you think Lance Stephenson is a calming agent for this team?
No, I think he's the exact opposite of that. I think he's going to shake something up. I want him to create conflict. I want to stir some of these guys on.
Overt conflict. We've got tons of conflict, but it's all like inert. It's all like passive aggressive conflict.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
we need
I want to end the passive aggressive-ness and just be outright aggressive.
I wanted to fight Evan Turner. That's all I want.
I mean, there were plenty of times when I kind of wanted to hit Evan Turner, so you get it a little.
Oh, come on, man.
My favorite thing about Lance is how happy it makes Joey. I have never seen Joey this excited, and we've been doing this for years. If Paul George is half as excited as Joey is, watch out, Cavs.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
This was arguably the best game of the season to date. It was unbelievable. Back and forth. We did have a chance to win it in regulation, but it was Paul George and LeBron James going back and forth. They're guarding each other, which doesn't always happen. Paul George scores, I think, 19 straight in the extra frames. You know, he ends up 43, 9 and 9. LeBron James is 41, 16 and 11. It was just a hell of a fun game. You know, it's a hell of a return for Lance. Obviously, you'd love to have the W, but as a fan, it doesn't get a whole hell of a lot better than this.
I was on strike, as you guys know, and I after we signed Lance, I was like, well, all right, I got to check this train wreck out. And I was just amazed. Like, it's like watching a completely different team. There's juice, there's energy with this team.
Confidence.
They're having fun. They're confident. Like you said, Colson, they were down 14, but they didn't get down on themselves. This is a team that earlier in the year would have imploded in that situation, I think. And, just kept fighting and really should have won this game.
It was pretty packed, but it was not a sellout.
It looked packed on TV.
Yeah. I'd say 16,000, 17,000 folks. I'm pretty good at eyeballing that.
That's pretty good.
I was really impressed also with the, when they interviewed Lance after they signed, Pacers signed him, he specifically called out the crowd. He's like, I love the crowd here. They're amazing. It's like, a college crowd. They're so excited. And when they actually were going to, because he's coming off the bench, when he's going to check in, the whole place started rumbling a little bit, and then when they finally called his name, place kind of standing ovation. And anytime he got the ball, at least for the first half, was just it's just like audible excitement from the crowd. And then the second half when he started doing his stuff, it was they were chanting Lance, Lance, Lance,
but it transferred to the other players. They were doing the stuff that I remember they always used to do. Like if you dive on the floor, like people freaking erupt. They were quiet on some offensive plays to let you do your calls. And then if you hit the three, you lose your mind. It was the crowds that I remember. It was great. It was fantastic.
Well, the crowd needed a little positive reinforcement too. Right? It's been a tough season.
It has been a tough season.
And we've even had a little bit of players. I mean, Paul George is not innocent of, sometimes taking it out a little bit on the crowds this season. So
right. Sure.
It's great to have a guy like Lance who he knows how important that crowd is. For God's sakes, he loves it when people scream for him. So I think that's just a good two-way street, right?
Yeah. Lavoie, 7 points and 4 boards in 5 minutes of action.
That's not bad.
Yep.
Chef Boyardee. We in this with a season high field goal percentage of 59%.
Jesus,
not bad.
Gonna beat a lot of teams when you do that.
Yeah. And Paul George in the interview after the game said, "We're coming out expecting to win now," which is nice.
Outscore the Raptors 37-24 in the third quarter.
Yeah,
and then start the fourth and just put our foot on their throats.
Yeah, we gave up 15 in the fourth.
Right. Just incredible effort. Huge win. Joey, you mentioned that we're fighting for every win we can get right now. We need them all. And so this was a huge win against a really good basketball team.
That has had our number.
That has killed us, basically, recently, yeah. And Paul George, again,
genius.
Just continuing to play at the level I think we all thought he was capable of playing all year long. I mean, he's been averaging over 30 for the past 8 or 9 games or something like that. Has 10 straight games of over 20 points now.
Longest streak in the league.
Yeah, longest active streak in the league. Looking like an MVP candidate, frankly, over the last, 2-3 weeks or whatever. All right, well, great week of Pacers basketball. I think the only question we have is Larry Bird. Is he just a normal genius, or is he like a mad genius at a second level for signing Lance Stephenson?
Joey, stat of the week.
And this time it's getting towards the end of the season. I'm going to ramp up my game too, just like the Pacers have. I'm bringing 2 stats of the week.
2.
First one about consensus first team All NBA player LeBron James. He has kept his consecutive streak of scoring double digits alive for 789 games straight. He just passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's 787. Michael Jordan is the number 1 in that category, 866 games. But this streak of scoring 10 or more points goes back to January 6, 2007. So that's 10 plus years of scoring 10 points or more in every single game.
It's one of those records that's so long. LeBron's got that on his list. Because MJ's name's on it.
Yeah.
Sure. So when this streak started, I found a good list of Fear the Sword. It's a Cavs website. But when this started, Kyrie Irving was 14 years old. Kevin Love was in high school. Tyronn Lue was on the Hawks playing basketball. All sorts. This was before Obama's presidency. Twitter had just started. It's 10 full years of scoring 10 or more points. Everyone's got an off night, but his are just not that low. His lows are just not that low.
That's right.
His basement's super high, is what I'm saying.
He's like he lives in one of those houses by the sea it's on stilts.
Right. He's already above everybody else. But tides come in, tides go out, but nobody knows how it works,
Joey, stat of the week.
This week, the number is 1, and it's for Fenerbahce. They won the Euro League. This is their first title of all time. So congrats to Fenerbahce.
What's a Fenerbahce?
Now you have an Undegooglables.
It's Fenerbahce. It's a basketball club from Istanbul in Turkey.
I thought maybe it was Kevin Federline and Bocce.
Kevin Federline's Pro-Am Bocce League. I would watch that. That's what I would.
That's on HGTV every Wednesday night.
Did John Edwards, the White Towel, play on that team?
You're asking if the White Towel played there. No, but there are some other people that you may recognize on that team. We were talking about the draft earlier. Former number 1 draft pick, where everyone thinks is a sure thing. Anthony Bennett is on this team.
The Velvet Fog.
He just got himself a title.
What about Orlando Johnson? Is he on that team?
No, it's Udo, Jan Vesely, Datomi.
You don't tell me who's on that team.
I just did.
Sorry.
I'm not going to encourage you. But, Colson, this one's for you. Pero Antich is on this team, too.
Yes!
Thought he would.
Land of Antich.
That's right. I need some time to figure out the pun here.
Yeah. It's not going to help no matter how much time you have, I've noticed. He slipped out of the league. I don't know. I thought he was on the bench somewhere, but he's back in Europe.
Nope.
Was Pero an Ant Lynchpin to that team winning?
Oh, that hurt.
Punched you right in the soul.
We did it, guys. We made the playoffs.
We did it.
Oh, yeah. No doubter there for us. No problem.
We eked in the last game, and our reward is we get to play the defending champs.
Yeah.
LeBron
Nate
has
McMillan.
never lost in the first round in his career.
Well, I don't know he's ever come up against the current coach of the month, Nate McMillan, in the first round of the playoffs.
Fair enough.
Pacers lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers 108-109, coming up just short. CJ Miles takes the shot at the end of the game, hits the front rim, and Cavs escape. The Pacers had really put a big push on at the end of the game.
It was a decent look from CJ, not maybe perfectly on balance, but it was a decent look. He missed the shot. Mm-hmm. But you either want to get something going to the rim, or failing that, you want to trust your superstar to make something happen.
Yeah, I've never been of the mind that it has to be the superstar taking the shot. I think CJ's a veteran. I thought like you said, he had a good look. So I'm not mad at the shot. After the game, PG said he had talked to CJ Miles and basically said, like, you got to give me the ball back. It's got to be that way. Pacers fall to the Cavaliers 117-111 in Game 2, putting them down 2-0 in this series. I thought a decent showing from the team. I thought a lot of similarities with the last game. Not a ton of defense. I think a lot of threes from the Cavs tonight. They were. I felt like almost every defensive communication error was rewarded with the Cavaliers 3-pointer. I don't know if I told you guys, but I was actually, honestly, to be a little unbiased, I was really hoping that the Pacers were going to win that game.
Where's your journalistic integrity, Joey?
Yeah. Well, we want to talk about the game that we all just watched this evening, Game 3. This was tonight, April 20th. Pacers bring they're bringing their A game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think this is the most important game of the season. They're coming into this game down 2-0 off two close games in Cleveland. Game 3, back at home, and I'll tell you what. I'll talk right now. Stat of the week: Pacers score 74 points in the first half. It's their franchise record for points in a half in the playoffs. So shout out to the Pacers on this one. The first half was amazing. Second half, less amazing.
First half was magical, Joey. Let's start there.
It was.
It was fantastic.
I was having a lot of fun, but also I knew it was the first half, and as a Pacer fan, I was nervous. I mean, so Jason, were you feeling confident at halftime?
I don't know if confidence the right word. I felt
scared as hell.
Encouraged that they responded in the way that they did. There was a lot of talk between Game 2 and Game 3 about comments that Paul George said about his teammates post-game. Some people said he was throwing them under the bus. Paul George responded and said, no, people asked me what these guys can do better. I said what they can do better. I'm with my teammates. So I was a little bit worried about the morale of the team. So to see them come out and chip in and do all the things, and even Nate McMillan made a checkers move and put CJ Miles into the starting lineup. Thanks for listening to the pod, Nate.
Thanks for listening to the pod, Nate.
Shout out.
I hope you can still get the podcast wherever you retire after the season. Yes. You got to feel good about this. Up 25. But of course, I'm a Pacers fan. I've been wounded by this team before. This team is, if anything, inconsistent. And, I was nervous. And they have the best player on the planet on the other side of the floor. So.
We were up 26, though. 26 in our house. We played great in our house.
25 at literally 25 at the break, right? Like,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This, I guess my stat of the week, then, I'm going to, scoop Colson on this one. We are tied for the greatest comeback against. Is that a record for us? I think.
Well, I mean, the Pacers are listed in that line item in the record book.
On the wrong side of the greatest playoff comeback, 26 points down, and we end up on the wrong side of that. That's
so the greatest choke of all time. Is that what that is on our side?
It seems fairly high on the list.
So after Game 2, Paul George was asked about Lance Stephenson needed to control himself because he kind of got flustered when Kevin Love was abusing him, and he said, Lance needs to have better composure. We rely on him. He's one of the leaders of this team. Blah, blah, blah. He's a leader of this team? He joined the team in game 77. And he's a leader of this team?
Yeah, we've
Doesn't
talked
that
about
speak
this.
volumes
Well,
about
no,
this team?
We have a leaderless team. That's the whole point. Paul George is not a good leader, and there's no one else on the team. Like, Lance Stephenson is probably the de facto leader on the team now, and he just showed up. Like, we don't have a leader in our coach. There's nobody on the roster that you can say is a leader except Paul George, and he's a flawed one at that.
I think all we have is a disappointed father in Larry Bird who just shakes his head when we make mistakes. And you don't know why. Yeah. He just does it, and he never explains himself. And you lose, and you go home.
Look, if this doesn't have massive fallout, then, something's terribly wrong with our franchise, right?
I mean, here's the thing. We have another game to play this season.
No, we don't. It's over. This thing is just roll over. Show your belly.
What do you want, a forfeit?
It doesn't matter. Game? Yeah.
In front of our home crowd.
That's I'm fine with that. This is over. Like, if we win
this is why you're not allowed to coach my team.
If we win Game 4, cool. Just get blown out in Game 5, yeah, awesome. I don't want it to drag out anymore. Just put a nail in the coffin of this season because it's over, buddy.
No, look. It doesn't matter. You have. I'm sorry. If a team is going to have pride, you don't lose in front of your home crowd.
We don't have pride, Harper. We don't have anything.
Take this as an opportunity to teach it. Paul George, if he has any intention of staying here, better get in there and say, you know what? Not in our house. I'm sorry.
Harper, I know that this loss just happened, but you realize that this loss means that we don't have Paul George anymore. Like, that's what just happened.
I'm not ready to have that conversation. I'm not ready yet.
Well, all of us just witnessed the final game of the Pacers season. It was April 23rd. Cavaliers complete the sweep of the Indiana Pacers, winning 106-104. This is a rough one. I thought that the Pacers looked kind of lifeless for big stretches of it, but really made a great effort towards the end of the game. Really just get back into it, just close enough to rip my heart a little bit more. And the Pacers actually had Paul George, to be specific, had an open look at 3 to tie the game up and probably send it into overtime if he'd made that, but did not even draw iron. I think, in those situations, maybe C.J. Miles would be better to take those shots.
So, I'm probably a bad person, and C.J. Miles is too good a person. But I wonder if there was some deep, dark part of him that took just a small amount of delight in PG missing the rim on that potential game-tying 3.
Well, hey, I don't want to throw dirt on the grave, but I mean, what's Paul George's record on go-ahead shots in the final 5 seconds of a game?
Right.
Something like 0 of 16.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that there was a part of CJ that said, I could have missed the rim.
The Truth played his last game as an LA Clipper as the Clippers fell in 7 games in a really entertaining series to the Utah Jazz. And this is not only I bring this little point up not only to acknowledge Paul Pierce and I remember him hitting dagger jump shots over the Pacers over the years and really hated him, but really just a classy NBA guy and will go down in the history books. Hall of Famer. He's definitely a Hall of Famer.
He's 15th all time in scoring and he's got rings.
Yeah.
So that's a wrap. And also, I think people forget that dude got stabbed like 9 times.
That's right.
And played the next season.
Right.
Yeah.
That dude is ridiculously hardcore.
Well, let's dive right in. The big news over the weekend was to me, very surprising.
Shocking.
And what we thought would never happen move of Larry Bird stepping down as president of basketball operations for your Indiana Pacers. And Kevin Pritchard is going to take over. Colson, Did you send our latest podcast to Larry Bird, and is that why he stepped down?
No, I mean, I assume that he listens. I didn't send it to him. I know it's in his
Mhm.
phone. Does he have an iPhone? Probably not. Someone played it for him.
No,
and
he has a
was
rotary phone. We've been over this.
He has an assistant that played it for him while he was knocking back a few Keystone Lights, and he felt really ashamed and decided it was best for the franchise to step down.
Basically, there's no change in leadership, the leadership triumvirate of Bird, Donnie Walsh, and Kevin Pritchard. All those three guys are still consulting. I guess that the guy that pulls the trigger now is Kevin Pritchard instead of Larry Bird. Do you think this is a real change, or is this just for show? Harper, do you have any thoughts?
This is a massive and real change.
Okay.
Larry Bird can, for all the trash that I've talked about Larry Bird this season, he can fulfill a really integral role for us, especially now that we have Lance. Like, this guy can be a great mentor to his players. And if he takes the time and that's where he's able to focus his attention, he can help us be a better team. I think that is ingenious. I've always been a fan of Kevin Pritchard. Obviously, Donnie's a genius. Larry just had too much on his plate, and he has other priorities at this point in his life. Kevin Pritchard's still fighting for his paychecks. He's still fighting for his legacy, right? Larry already has that. So I think that I think that this is not a change in title. I think this is a change, like a qualitative change. I think this is fundamentally different.
Pritchard was hinting at the sort of a change in culture in the Pacers organization. Joey, did you glean anything specific about that from this article? Because I couldn't quite figure it out.
Well, it definitely was, I think, addressing the problem that we seemed to notice through the year was that the guys didn't seem to be on the same page. They didn't seem to be a tight-knit unit, like some of the other more successful teams, and fun to watch teams, teams that you can get behind, and seems guys that have each other's backs, and it just didn't seem like that was the Pacers culture. So it seems like he wants to help foster that with this team. It doesn't say how or what's going to be the path to doing that, but it's something that's on their radar at least. Yeah. And I think that we have talked in the past about how Bird is not wired that way. He didn't seem to care too much about that. He seemed about getting good basketball players out there together, but we saw moves over the past 5 years that were maybe good on paper but destructive maybe in the locker room, which was maybe demoralizing to teams on the whole. So maybe that's something that Pritchard is going to address with his new position. In other news, the All-NBA teams came out, which are always just there. It's fun to see what people think, who the best players are, and now it seems to affect contracts and whatnot.
Nothing surprising until
NBA All-Third Team forwards Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler, DeAndre Jordan at the center, and guards John Wall and DeMar DeRozan. Jimmy Butler. That doesn't say Paul George at all.
And there were no ties this year. That's what I don't get.
Not a single one.
I was so confused by this. I was so sure about the ties.
You bet heavily on the tie.
I went all in on the ties.
So, I think not a super shock to Pacers fans. I think Jimmy Butler was the better player. And then obviously, so the let's just dive right in, I guess, to what this means for the Pacers, right? So had Paul George made one of these three All-NBA teams, the Pacers could have offered him the Supermax, an extension of 5 years and $210 million, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And now they can only offer him 5 years for what is it, 180? The kicker is that the advantage would have been that the Pacers could have offered something like 70 or 75 million more than any other team.
Than the
could
other
offer him.
teams.
Right.
They can only offer 4 years, 135
Right.
or something like that,
Exactly.
right?
I feel like, you're closer to the edge.
Yeah,
The
no, I
ledge.
feel.
Oh yeah,
than
we
when
haven't made him
started.
feel any better at all.
No. We might have made you feel even worse.
So, yeah, basically that just said to me that there's really no shot at trying to keep him. We should
Welcome
just
to
trade
the era of Lance. Like, just embrace it, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Just relax. He's got this. He's got you covered.
Just relax
He's
and
going to be
enjoy
a
the
skinny
ride.
Lance. He's going to be all floppy out there.
And he's best buds with Kevin Seraphin, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
They look like they're having
There's
a
going
good
to be
time together.
snakes everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't see any options to where if Paul George's main thing is we got to win now, I don't see any roads for us to get there.
Right.
I just don't see any. And so that says to me it's time to pull the trigger and get the best things that you can in return before you lose everything for nothing.
Right. I kind of agree. And I kind of think that even if we do compete next year, that he just doesn't want to be in Indiana.
It hasn't felt like he's just over the moon and can't wait to stay in Indiana. That has just never been the vibe I get.
Right. And he says the things. He's like, I love Indy. You know, he'll scream, "This is my city" when he's on the court.
Once a year.
Once a year.
Once a year.
And it, I don't know that it rings true to me. Which is a shame. I love Paul George. He's probably
Paul
my
George.
favorite Pacer of all time.
100%.
Right. This is Robert Johnson at the crossroads, man. Like, you gotta make this choice.
Wow.
You gotta, because if you flub this, if you screw this up, right, this is why you're pressing all the panic buttons, Colson, right? It's because if you mess this up, you set your franchise back for potentially a decade.
I used to have a little red wagon with a little license plate on the back that had my phone number on it, and I'd walk it around the neighborhood with my lawnmower, and people would call me. What a bunch of lawns back in the day.
Are you still
and my little red
you still
wagon.
for hire?
I'm not. I can barely get my own lawn mowed nowadays.
Okay.
So.
All right.
And I have the smallest yard in the history of the world.
It's harder than it seems.
You should hire goats.
Just hire goats.
That's like the
I could just
environmental way to get
own
things done
goats.
these days.
But I could. I don't know if I'm paying them a salary. I could just.
No,
have
you
them
just you
live
have a
at the
guy.
house.
You have a goat guy.
You got a goat guy?
Yeah.
Who's got a goat guy?
Who doesn't have a goat guy, Joey?
Don't you have a goat? You have chickens and stuff running around, Joey. You don't have a goat guy? You should get a goat guy.
I'll think about
It's super environmentally responsible. There's
Yeah.
these guys. They'll have a herd of goat or whatever. What's the collective term for a goat? A herd.
Ooh, I love this
Spoiler
game.
for next week's Undegoogleable.
Kids are baby
It's
goats.
a murder of goats.
Murder. It's an armed
Whatever.
robbery of goats.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, they'll take them around and then chew your grass up, and they do a super good job. And there's no gasoline involved.
In my neighborhood, which is a little methy, we get guys that come around and ask if they can mow my lawn all the time. One guy, I bid him all the way down to mow it for free, and then I decided not to let him mow my lawn
For
because I was
free.
like, this has just got weird.
Why are you shipping those jobs outside of your neighborhood?
Because I could do it myself, Joe.
Because you got the character that you built from cutting grass.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Just, if you are going to let goats mow your lawn, make sure you check their papers.
Okay.
Make sure they're legal.
And do you think
goats.
I became the fourth best podcaster on a crummy podcast without mowing my own lawn?
That's what we always talk about. When you're not around, that's what we talk about mostly. You're living the ham's life, buddy.
That's right. That's right. Shout out to the ham's life.
I think it is about that time to get the heck out of here.
I think we passed that several minutes ago.
I was just
Yeah, didn't we already say what's going on?
I was just being kind.
Somebody was asleep at the wheel.
That's my bad. My bad, guys. All right, squad. Let's get out of here.
I got to go eat some turkey.
Oh, yeah. I don't, but
Well, no, it's Thanksgiving.
I-
you probably
Yeah,
you should
we're
not eat turkey
vegetarians,
still.
buddy.
Yeah, good call. Darn it. Yeah, there's plenty of mashed potatoes for you
Oh, I know. I'll have plenty of those.
without gravy.
They can make a little gravy.
It's not as good.
Fine.
Yeah.
Get out of here so I can get drunk and fight you. Clutch has a reason to get up in the morning, right?
Oh yeah. You don't need to feel bad for Clutch.
No. Well, except for his health problems from the obesity.
His early onset diabetes.
Yeah.
Besides that,
And his Obamacare is going to be gone like
Right.
real soon.
yeah.
The coverage for Bears was never great.
I think he's on the Obamacare.
Ooh, very nice. I don't think they're cutting that. I think that one's sticking around. I haven't heard anything about them cutting that.
That is not coming up in any of the meetings.
Right.
And any of the executive orders.
Would you cut a Bears insurance? No way. Come on.
Till next time, you can find us on Twitter. We are at Undebeatables. We're on Facebook.com/The Undebeatables. Our website is theundebeatables.com. You can send us a message there. You can review us on iTunes. Really helps new listeners find our show. Thanks to everyone who's done that. We got t-shirts for sale.
For a once and always coach, Bobby Leonard. And for Beaker. Me, 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 me. The party's over. Me, 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 me. Got to work on my Beaker impression, maybe.
Yeah.
Me, 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 me. I don't know.
You can do it right now.
Yeah, I'll just keep working on it. You guys just sit there and listen.
Okay.
Me, me, me.
Is it your turn this time?
I think it is my turn. Turn out the lights. The party's over.
It was very nice. It was soothing.
I'm going to have to work on it then to make it more abrasive.
Oh,
It's not in keeping with the spirit of our show.
that's true. You followed the letter of the law, but not the spirit of the law.
Exactly.
You know, Joe, you were mentioning that you haven't been singing on the podcast in our first 200 episodes. Wondered if you want to sing us out today.
I don't know if the fans can take it. They've got so used to your voice.
For a once and always coach, Bobby Leonard. Sing with me, Joe. Turn out the lights. The party's over.
That was a great harmony. That was awesome.
Good. You went a little Kermit the Frog on us, Joe. It was great. I loved it.
I was trying to follow your lead, and I didn't know where you were taking me.
That's what I was going to say. That's the super challenge. You don't know where Colson's going with this.
Yes.
So, right. Even though he's done it 200 times.
I don't know where he's going because he doesn't know where he's going.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
They're all a snowflake.
You guys crack me up. Hey, do you are your vocal cords covered under your Obamacare, Colson?
No. I need to be. I probably need to sign up for Obamacare. I think they have a special vocal cord clause in there.
You'd have to get classified as a...
I think they have a special clause in there.
Fair enough.
Oh.
And for our once and always coach, now in the Hall of Fame, Bobby Slick Leonard. Don't turn out the lights. The party is not over. It's just beginning. As my good friend Nick Fesco used to say, the night is but a fetus.
Yes. Yes.
What do you call two guys with no arms and no legs hanging in the window?
Bob.
Curtain rod. We're off the rails here, people.
We'll probably just hit publish from here, right?
So, to wrap that up,
Nobody's at it.
we always wrap it up.
Yeah.
That's right.
Double.
That's a lesson to the kids out there.
Sure. Pull-out method is not a safe method.
Oh, God. Let's probably put a pin in this one and hit the...
These are PSAs. We can file as a 501c now.
If anyone is getting their life advice from our podcast, particularly anything produced after 11 o'clock, is
I'm just envisioning us getting audited and us playing this tape and being like, no, come on, look. We're doing charitable work, my friend.
I just want to see you walking out of the room and saying, "Undebeatable is for the children."
It is, my friend. It is.
All right, guys. I think they're shutting down the Starbucks. I gotta go.
So your internet's gonna go away.
So that's a wrap.
Yeah, that's right. That's a wrap.
See, the only way I actually remember stuff is by saying it on this podcast. So now I remember.
Mm-hmm. This is your body of work you leave behind.
That's right. It's my journal.
Okay.
I apologize to whoever listens to this and that in the future, some sort of children or grandchildren that see this as my journal. My apologies.
Yeah, it's some poor PhD student that's doing a dissertation on the weird phenomenon that was podcasts from 2008 to 2000.
We apologize that you had to get 211 episodes in, buddy. Just turn it off.